and salaries fall behind if they are not constantly being updated. So I think that that's something that we definitely will want to consider. In terms of reallocating from administrators to teachers and other staff, there are probably contractual obligations in place, as has been noticed. So there are some steps that need to be taken. I mean, in terms of just as we just make sure that we change that allocation. But I think there are practical steps that need to be taken into consideration with an equity analysis as a basis to help inform that.
So each of our employee groups, our educational support professionals, our teaching staff, and our administrators are all under state law, held under and recognized and supported by an education, their union, their particular unions. We have 3 in Frederick County. And each of those sets of employees negotiate with the school system and the Board of Education to make their contracts. And to universally say we're going to take from one to give to another would subvert the rights of those employees to negotiate their own contracts. So I fully support the rights of members to negotiate their contracts as they see fit. As a Board of Education member sitting on the opposite side of the table, I would want to make sure that we are able to attract and retain staff that are appropriate. I support putting some more funding. We always, the first place that gets cut almost inevitably is always in the salary pool. And we've looked at, in 8 years, we've had 2 step increases for teaching staff, I think fewer in the educational support professional staff. And so we are not at a place where I think any of our groups can really defer in the salary portion of things, especially as we're looking at 2 double-digit increases in percentages of cost for our health insurance. So my contact is to put more money into the salary resource pool and to make sure we can attract and retain best employees. But also for education support professionals, we need to look at adopting the Education Support Professional Bill of Rights, which has been offered several times to them.
It appears that we're back live, but if you can say your names when you give your answer, because they can't see too much anymore.
Sure.
So,
Jess Douglas. I'm going to pick up where Casey left off. That support staff Bill of Rights. Yes. It is imperative that anyone who works for FCPS should be able to live in Frederick County on one salary. You should have one job and be able to live here. Mr. Wilson and I both teach in another county because, well, I'll speak for myself, I can't afford to teach in Frederick County and live here. It's a $20,000 pay cut if I were to switch jobs and teach in Frederick County. And that's unsustainable. Every year, we ask our staff to do more, right? Schools are supposed to solve all of society's problems, right? And so we need to do more with our kids every day, and we're not compensating our staff. We're asking them to do more with less. And looking at that support staff raise of a 3% salary increase, as Casey said, their healthcare premiums are raising by double digits, and so they're actually losing money after that increase. And again, when you lose these staff members, they're not coming back, all right? So when we get this budget under our belts, and when we can afford to pay our staff in a way that is commensurate to the work that they do for our children every day, they're not coming back. They've found another job. We've lost them. So we need to retain our staff. And yes, the budget needs to reflect our priorities as a board.
Thank you, Mr. Rose, more negotiations, but I will agree with Casey because the second part of that is I'm not going to run a Peter to pay Paul. I'm not going to do that. They have a contract, they negotiated. That is their right, and that's their ability, what they should be doing. But I'm going to lay out some statistics here so people can actually hear what is on the table and why we support professional level compensation. As Ms. Douglas said, there's so many, I think 60 or 70% of the school that I work in Frederick County will work in FCPS. Why? Because they would take an immediate $17,000 pay cut. I have a neighbor that works in Howard County. If they worked in Frederick County, they would take a $9,000 pay cut. That coupled with the fact that inflation has risen 25% since 2020. That coupled with the fact that 60% of educators have a second job. That coupled with the fact that it takes $85,000 for a family in Frederick just to make ends meet. Most of our education support professionals don't even make 42. So they're taking on 2 or 3 jobs. Our bus drivers that I got to talk to the other week, they drive a bus, but they can work at Costco for double the money that we're paying. It is a priority, it should be a priority, that you give professional level compensation to professionals. We keep saying that our staff is so great, but they're not great enough to pay. That I have a major problem with, is why I believe in professional level compensation for every educator working at CPS.
So we're going to go to closing statements, and each candidate has 90 seconds to give a closing statement. And we're going to switch it up a little here. Chad, we're going to start with you.
And Chad, say your name before you start, please.
Oh, sorry. Chad King Wilson, Senior, running for Frederick Board of Education. Currently on the Board of Education as an appointee. First of all, I want to thank everybody for listening today. Everybody's on live. Anytime I get a chance to talk about what I believe in is a great day for me. You have amazing people sitting up here. We might differ on a couple things, but really you have an embarrassment of riches running right now for Board of Education. A lot of boards around the state are looking for somebody, and you have plenty of them. So, and I'll say this, I always believe in building coalitions. I believe in bringing people together, and I think that right now you have a bunch of candidates up here that really are showing the diversity of our county and what is great about our county. I'm humbly running for board because I'm a parent, and I want my children's schools to be better. I'm running also as a community member because I want to see representation on the Board of Education. And I'm also running because, man, a great school makes a great community. A strong public school makes a strong community. And my wife and I moved to Frederick County because we love the community. We love the diversity. We love the people. And I want to make sure that we are always working towards strengthening it and making sure that everybody has equity of access, and that diversity and inclusion are always on the forefront. So hopefully I can earn your vote. With great talking to you. If you ever want to talk to me, reach out. I'll talk to anybody.
Thanks. My name is Jess Douglas. I'm running for school board. Again, thank you all for coming out. We're 90 minutes into this thing, and you all are troopers. So I'm a public education teacher. I'm a special education teacher. Again, 4 kids in Frederick County Public Schools. This is important to me because it's important to my family that we have schools that represent who we are. And to that end, this is a democratic forum, and as Mr. Wilson pointed out, we have great candidates here. We need to work together to make sure that we have a board that represents our values, right? We need to make sure that we are working together to make sure that we don't have a board that represents hate, that represents discrimination, that represents everything that we don't stand for, right? That we stand against. And so please do learn about each of us, reach out to each of us, support candidates that you feel strongly about. But this race is very important. And great schools make for great communities, and inclusive schools make for inclusive communities. Welcoming schools make for welcoming communities. And I know you all believe that because you're here. And so I want to reiterate that whatever brought you here today, please spread that to people that you talk to and encourage them to do the same. And I hope that, after talking to me this morning, I have earned your vote, and please, visit my webpage and learn more about it. Thanks.
Hi, Casey Day. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see so many people willing to come out early on a Saturday morning to listen to us talk about education. For me, that's always been a thing. I have spent 45 years in our school system. I grew up here. I went through our school system here. I student taught here, raised my kids here. They've also went through schools. Working and advocating for Frederick County schools has literally been my life's work. And I have been doing that as part of advocacy as a student and all the way through. This is what I do. I enjoy being in Board of Education meetings on Wednesdays, and I've been doing that for 20 plus years now, sitting there. I do think fundraisers for a taco bar in the back of the Board of Ed meeting would be a great way to raise some extra funding for those of us who are there every week. But all joking aside, this is such an important election, and we say that every time, but this election is so incredibly important because of the intensity of the other side and what's coming towards us. People looking to ban books, to erase identities, to whitewash our history, to do the things that we've been fighting against for years and years now. We are at a real risk. And so I encourage you, your involvement, I encourage you, we need people to show up to help. It's a big county, we can't get it all by ourselves, so please be engaged. Choose your favorite candidates. Like Mr. Wilson said, there's amazing people here on this on the forum, and our candidates that are here, and just get involved.
Okay, well, again, thank you so much for being here this morning. We really appreciate it. Also the organizers for this forum. And this is democracy at its best, right? It's people getting informed about who the candidates are and making their selections. As was noted, please vote and use your 4 votes. That is very important. As was noted, there's a lot at stake in this election. You have, and also as Mr. Wilson noted, you have fantastic candidates. It's a great problem to have, and now I'm putting myself in that fantastic candidate. Yes, it's a good problem to have. You have great choices. So please, get informed. Look at our website, and also tell your friends. Please, grab a friend, and the day of voting, go to vote with them. So I am running, Maria Carrasco again. And why am I running? I strongly believe in giving every child in Frederick County a real shot. And not every child currently has that, right? We have our multilingual learners, some children falling behind in some areas. There's also, challenges with IEPs and following up that the IEPs are being completed, et cetera, et cetera. So there we have a good school system, and we can make it, even stronger than it is right now, addressing some of the challenges that we have discussed this morning. So I hope that 4 years from now, we can look at the data. I love data. I'm an evidence person, and we can say we have made some changes, and that would be, my commitment if I am elected, and I hope I have earned your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I especially want to thank the North Frederick County Democrats and the Frederick County Young Democrats for hosting this. I want to thank you all. If not for your work in North County, I wouldn't be sitting here. So I appreciate all the work that you do on behalf of our candidates. I'm Dean Rose. I'm running for re-election this year alongside Ms. Ray Gallagher, who's also running for re-election. There are amazing candidates here. And I want to be clear about one thing, because this is what's important. Any 4 of these candidates, including Ms. Gallagher, would be better than the alternative. So what we have to remember is in the last election, there were 3 seats. They won 2. 2 of 3. If they win 2 of 4, which if we don't do the work and we don't come together, 2 of 4 is doable. If they win 2, they take over the board. And you want to talk about Donald Trump's day 1 proclamations and promises? 443 would be eliminated day 1. We want to barter back and forth about cuts versus reallocations. I can promise you there would be cuts. So when you go to the ballot box, I hope you'll appreciate experience, and you'll consider Ms. Gallagher and I to serve another 4 years, and you'll also consider 2 of these fantastic candidates. Thank you.
So as we wrap this up, I just want to say thank you to the Frederick County Democrats, as well as the Young Dems, for bringing this event together. I definitely couldn't do it without y'all's support, so I really appreciate it. If y'all want to get involved, support my campaign, that is greatly appreciated. You're more than welcome to come talk to me after this. I've got yard signs right over there. So just take one if you want. My DMs are open on Facebook and Instagram, so just message me about whatever, and I think that's about it. Thank y'all for coming out here this morning, and have a great day.
And say your name, please.
Oh, Lois, Celeste.
I'm just going to wrap it up by saying the Democrats this year have a wealth of candidates, but it is imperative, as Dean said, that all 4 seats in November go to Democrats. The same thing happened in 2024, and 2 seats went to extremists, and we cannot have that happen again. Encourage your neighbors who are independents. they can vote in the primary election. Encourage them to go out and vote as well. This is probably one of the most important elections that we will have this year in Frederick County, and it is for our school board. And as Dean said, if they win 2 seats, they take the majority. So thank everyone for coming out. Thank Northern Dems for, hold on.
I want to piggyback on that and say, as they've said, you get 4 votes, not 5. 5 throws everything out. So you get 4 votes. Only choose 4. If you go higher than 4, your votes get, your vote doesn't count. And we can't have people overvoting. We prefer that you don't undervote either. Undervote means you don't choose 4, but make sure you don't go more than 4, or your vote gets thrown out and not considered. Not only now, but when it counts in November. Okay?
So thank you all for coming out. Have a wonderful afternoon. And don't forget to vote.